Hello, and welcome to the next in the Effective Writing Center series of workshops. I'm Dan Gallagher, Director of the Effective Writing Center. Today's workshop is titled Time to Toot Your Own Horn, Marketing Your Brand with Effective Resumes and Cover Letters, and is being presented by Anna Dumonchel and Amy Maxfield. Anna Dumonchel is a lead writing advisor who has been working in the EWC for over 10 years. She holds a BA in anthropology from the University of Maryland College Park and has completed graduate-level coursework in historical archaeology at Syracuse University. Anna truly enjoys working for the EWC because it combines her love of writing with her passion for teaching. Amy Maxfield is the EWC's lead advisor for training, and she also worked as an online writing advisor and guest lecturer from 2005 to 2010. She has a BA from the University of North Carolina, Greensboro, and MA degrees from the Shakespeare Institute at Stratford-upon-Avon and University of Maryland College Park. The Q&A app has been added to this Hangout. If you currently see the showcase view, you should be able to select Q&A instead, either at the top of your screen or in the menu on the left. Please feel free to type questions during the workshop, and we will allow time for responses throughout. This workshop will be archived for future viewing in the Effective Writing Center's Google Plus community. And now, to begin tonight's workshop, I will turn it over to Amy Maxfield.
Thank you, Dan, and welcome everyone. So as Dan mentioned, tonight Anna and I are going to be sharing some strategies for developing successful career documents. And we're also going to talk about some of the ways that both UMUC Career Services and the Effective Writing Center can support you during the process. When we post this video on the EWC's Google Plus page, we'll also share a set of links to other sites that we discussed tonight so that you'll have a complete set of those that you can refer to later. So let's get started. The average American will change careers, not just jobs, about 6 to 8 times during his or her adult life. The median time spent in a private sector job is 4 years. Company loyalty went bye-bye with platform shoes and poodle skirts. Today, you're your own company, and you'd better start looking out for number 1. Writing resumes and cover letters is some of the most important writing you're ever going to do. Not only do these documents open the door to a career, they also call upon you to clearly define your personal career goals and to have a vision of your future. As you've probably already discovered, you will need more than one resume, and you will need a variety of personal career documents. The 3 main ones are your cover letter, your resume, and your thank you letter. We'll begin by discussing some of the fundamentals of an effective cover letter, and then move on to resumes and finish with the thank you letter. When submitting a resume, you must also provide a cover letter that introduces you, states the job that you're applying for, and adds depth and a personality to the otherwise dry list of qualifications on your resume. The purpose of this letter is to convince your reader that you're an outstanding candidate for that specific position. The goal of the letter is to get you to the next phase of the hiring process. Even if you're a modest person, you need to show why that company will benefit from hiring you. How else can the company know unless you tell them? You should demonstrate that you have all the required skills and experiences for the job. Don't overlook any of the job duties and required qualifications mentioned in the job listing. They're there for a reason. Address them directly and, if possible, in list format. And we cannot stress this enough, your letter must be proofread carefully. It's guaranteed that candidates who submit a letter or a resume with a single grammatical or mechanical mistake will be the first to hit the round file. So let's start by reviewing the main goals of your cover letter. Even though you'll be writing an individual one for each job you apply to, the objectives will be pretty much the same. And you probably already know this, but do keep in mind that our guidelines apply to both hard copy correspondence as well as email. So all cover letters need to explain why you're sending a resume. Don't send a resume without a cover letter. Don't make the reader guess what you're asking for. Be specific. Do you want a summer internship opportunity, a permanent position at graduation, or are you merely inquiring about future employment possibilities? Tell specifically how you learned about the position. Was it a flyer posted in your department, a website, a family friend who works at the organization? It is appropriate to mention the name of someone who suggested that you write. Convince the reader to look at your resume. The cover letter is going to be seen first. Therefore, it must be very well written and targeted to that employer. Call attention to the elements of your background. Education, leadership, and experience that are relevant to a position that you are seeking. Be as specific as possible using examples. Reflect your attitude, personality, motivation, enthusiasm, and communication skills. Provide or refer to any information specifically requested in a job advertisement that might not be covered in your resume, such as availability date or a reference to an attached writing sample. And then you also want to indicate what you're going to do to follow up. In a letter of application, when you're applying for an advertised opening, applicants will often say something like, "I look forward to hearing from you." Alternatively, you can take the initiative to follow up and say something like, "I will contact you in the next 2 weeks to see if you require any additional information regarding my qualifications." In a letter of inquiry, where you're just asking about the possibility of an opening rather than applying to a specific one, don't assume that the employer will contact you. You should say something like, "I will contact you in 2 weeks to learn more about upcoming employment opportunities," with the name of the organization. Then you can mark your calendar to make the call. So now that we've had a chance to review the overall objectives of the letter, let's talk a little bit about organization. So in the first section, which is usually the first body paragraph, you want to make your purpose as clear as possible. If you've had personal contact with someone in the company, or if you've been invited to apply, you can mention that in the opening sentence or two. You want to indicate the title of the specific job you're applying for and the source of information. So again, if you saw that listed at a job fair or in a newspaper or a specific website, you want to make that clear. And you want to summarize your qualifications and state clearly what you can offer the company. So let's take a look at a sample first section of a cover letter. As you can see, the applicant begins by stating the position and where he learned about it, and then he summarizes his qualifications and what he can offer the company. This way, his purpose is immediately clear, and the reader will have a much more concrete idea of what's ahead. So in the next section, which again will usually be the second body paragraph, you want to connect your skills and experiences to the position that you're applying for. Here you're going to make strong point-by-point connections between your qualifications and the job description. So you want to expand on your experience and your education and qualifications. Also, if there's background not evident in the resume that enhances your appeal as an employee, you would want to include that as well. So for example, if leadership or supervision skills are important to the target job, you could indicate that you held an elective office in a volunteer group and that you won by a wide majority in a large field of candidates. And information like this will show that you're liked by people, you're seen as a leader, and you stand out in a crowd. And again, we can look at an example. Note that in this one, the middle section consists of 2 paragraphs, which is fine, but it's also fine to just have 1 paragraph in this section. Here, the applicant connects his past experiences in childcare to his current qualifications for the position, mentioning specifics like planning, training, and professional development. In addition, he expands upon his background by discussing a relevant internship before reiterating his point about why this organization will benefit from hiring him. And then in the last section of your letter, you want to conclude with an action step. What do you want the reader to do? Do you want him to contact you? If so, how can you be contacted? Are you available to come for an interview? And if so, when? You would want to make sure that this kind of information is very clear. Then you want to be sure to thank the reader for considering your resume. You can also indicate below your signature that the resume is enclosed. At the left border in the margin under your name, you can note an enclosure. So here's another example of the last section, and as you can see, the writer includes an action step and thanks the reader. We're going to share some more links to more examples, as I said, but for now, this is a template for a standard cover letter, and it follows the format that we just discussed. So you could take something like this and use it as you develop your own letters by just customizing it. You will probably find that once you have a basic letter, or even just the first one that you happen to write, you can use it as the basis for future letters just by editing certain details and making sure that you customize everything to the target job and the target organization. Also, both Career Services and the Effective Writing Center have resources that you can use as you prepare your letter. Career Services cover letter tutorial, which as you can see, you can find on their website, walks you through the entire process, and it includes examples of different types of cover letters as well as a very helpful FAQ. The Effective Writing Center also offers guidance on every step of the job search, from effective job searching to managing your online reputation, and again, we'll be posting links to everything we've referenced tonight. Like other types of writing, your cover letters and your other career documents will be stronger if you can get feedback. UMUC Career Services offers cover letter reviews via Skype, email, or telephone. You just go to the Career Services website and click on Talk to an Career Advisor, and it will prompt you to enter the details that they need to contact you. In addition, the UMUC Effective Writing Center will review and offer revision ideas for your cover letters and other career documents too. This is a really good way to be productive during times, maybe between course sessions, when your academic or your professional workload is a little bit lighter. You can submit your document and receive written advice via email, or you can choose to work one-on-one with an advisor in a virtual conference in WebEx. So you just need to log into the MyUMUC portal and select Submit to the Writing Center, and this takes you to our submission form where you can enter your details and select live or written help. And again, we'll share these links later. And my colleague Anna is going to offer you some strategies on marketing your brand with your resume.
Thanks, Amy. We'll move on now to discussing resumes. A well-written and graphically appealing resume is critical to a career search. Your goal in developing a resume is to show the potential employer how your skills, qualifications, and experiences match the specific requirements of the job for which you are applying. Connecting the dots between the job description and your skills is key to getting your resume noticed. Hiring managers often have to weed through piles of resumes for a single job opening. Here are a few tips for how to help yours stand out from the pile, as well as a few mistakes to avoid. First, and I cannot stress enough how important this is, when you are applying for positions in different companies or for different jobs in the same company, you must alter your resume to fit. Avoid the temptation to recycle the same resume for each job application. Believe me, hiring managers can spot a generic resume a mile away, and they will not be impressed. Use your resume to demonstrate how your skills align specifically with the job description. You do not need to include every detail of your employment history. This is not an autobiography. Instead, include skills and experience that align specifically with the job description. In a moment, I'll describe a brief activity that can help you choose resume content that matches the job description. Make sure your resume is neat and graphically appealing. Resumes that are cluttered, difficult to read, and filled to the brim with long descriptions are the first to end up in the circular file. Instead, keep your material organized, use bulleted lists where possible, and leave plenty of white space on the page. Because reviewers take only a short time to read or scan your resume, the information relevant for them must be easily and quickly accessible. Recruiters won't search for your strong points. You must spotlight them. As we discussed, customizing your resume to each job is your #1 task. A simple formula for creating an effective resume is resume equals job description plus your qualifications. Without both of these elements, your resume will be generic and will not effectively market you as the best candidate for the job. So, how can you ensure that your resume effectively connects the dots between your qualifications and the targeted job? You must take the time to familiarize yourself with the job description. It contains important clues as to what you must include in your resume. Try this simple activity. Print out or save the job description and read it several times. Highlight or underline the key requirements, as I've done here in this example. Next, create a chart comparing the job requirements to your own skills, as I've done. Notice how I pulled all of the underlined requirements from the job description above and placed them on the left side of the chart. On the right, I then listed my relevant qualifications. Now, as I develop my resume and cover letter, I can check back to make sure that I've included all of the information that I listed in the right hand of the chart. When you are ready to begin creating your resume, keep in mind these design tips. Unless you are in a field that requires you to show off your design skills, such as graphic design, it's best to keep your resume simple so that a busy layout doesn't detract from your qualifications. Choosing a simple format also ensures that your resume can be opened on any computer without skewing the layout, which sometimes happens when using a fancy template. Don't use obscure programs or outdated file formats that the hiring manager may not be able to open. Be sure to visit UMUC's Career Services for some excellent resume formats that you can borrow. Allow plenty of white space on the page so that the hiring manager can easily scan from section to section and identify key words. The more cluttered and cramped the text on a resume is, the less likely anyone will read it. Clear and consistent section headings are key to keeping your material organized and easy to scan. Bulleted lists are an excellent way to highlight key terms without lengthy descriptions. There is no need to write complete sentences in your resume. Make sure that your name and contact information are front and center so that the hiring manager can easily contact you. If the job listing provides any requirements, make double sure to follow them. For instance, you may need to use specific section headings or a recommended layout, or a company may require that your resume be scannable so that it can be run through a computer program for their first round of eliminations. Listed here are some of the most common sections of resumes. This list does not appear in any particular order, and it is not set in stone. Your resume is unlikely to include all of these sections. Be sure to vary the order of your resume sections according to the job you are seeking. Ditto for the names of those sections. For example, a section entitled Experience rather than Career Background would allow you to bring in non-career activities such as volunteer experience. Also keep in mind that many company-specific job boards require you to use the section names that they provide to you. How you organize your sections is key to showcasing your skills in the best light possible. Now let's take a closer look at some of the most common sections from this list. All resumes must include your personal information. You can see here just one example of how you might format your name block. Be sure to use your full name, not a nickname or initials, unless you have a good reason for doing so. If you need to include 2 addresses to ensure someone can make contact with you, as in the example here, do it. Include dates if necessary. Do not include a present work address. Doing so can be potentially embarrassing for you, your present and potential employers, as well as possibly costing you a job you are otherwise qualified for. If you have a relevant web page, make sure that it looks professional and fits the standards expected in your field. Be sure to use a professional sounding email address. If you don't have one, this is a good time to take advantage of the many free email services like Gmail to set up an account dedicated to your job search. Find an email service that will allow you to use your name in a recognizable way, without a puzzle of numbers or other characters attached to it. This is the time to ditch clever, descriptive handles such as GiggleGirl127 or MatrixFan01. You want plain and professional. This may seem obvious, but be sure to type your phone number correctly. Don't let an incorrect phone number keep you from getting the job. A career objective is not required on all resumes. However, it is a very good idea to include one. Be sure that you label it Career Objective and place it immediately below your name and address section. Limit the objective to 1 to 3 lines that name the advertised position you're applying for and summarize your qualifications for that position. Again, this is a section of your resume that you must change according to the job you are applying for. Whether you choose to write the objective in sentence or phrase format, follow these guidelines. Customize the objective according to the job for which you are applying with this resume. Include the exact job title as it's written in the job listing. Mention only the experience, skills, and education that address the requirements of this particular position. It's not all about you. Do not say what you want to learn or to gain from this job. Instead, emphasize what you can do for the company. Let's take a look at 2 sample objectives. This job candidate wrote, "Looking for a position where I can best use my skills to advance within the company." This vague and rather generic statement could refer to any job. A hiring manager probably reads a dozen variations of this same objective a day, and it sure won't get the candidate noticed. Now for an objective that works. to obtain the lead electrical maintenance position at XYZ Foods Incorporated, where I can use my 13 years of experience in industrial automation to streamline the plant's manufacturing process and increase monthly product output. Notice how this objective is very specific and uses the exact title of the position she is seeking. It also clearly states what the job candidate can offer the targeted company if she is hired. The education section of your resume should include any degree or certifications that you have. Provide the following information: the name of the institution you attended, the name of your degree or certificate, and your graduation date in month-year format. Any major, minor, or specialization you have. You may also choose to include your grade point average and any upper-level courses you've taken that are particularly relevant for the job. Here is one example of how the work experience section of your resume might be formatted. Remember, this is your chance to toot your own horn. Don't be dishonest, but don't be shy. You have to be willing to sell yourself as an engaged, proactive worker who can handle responsibility and carry out tasks in a professional way. Don't just list your duties. Instead, highlight your accomplishments. For example, have you implemented any new programs at work? Have you introduced strategies that increase productivity in a certain way? If so, tell the potential employer. Be sure to include specific details. Rather than saying managed coworkers, you might say conducting team building exercises for a group of 8 coworkers. Adding a few specifics like this gives the hiring manager a much clearer understanding of your experience. This is also the time to use strong verbs that get you noticed. How many times has a hiring manager read the words led or carried out or managed? These words are tired and overused. Instead, grab attention and impart some excitement to your resume with strong verbs like implemented, coordinated, or orchestrated. A quick Google search will bring up dozens of lists of verbs like this that you can use in your own resume. Including a skills section can be particularly useful if you are a recent graduate or you are changing careers. This is because the skills section allows you to emphasize your skills over a limited job history or career experience. The skills section also allows you to list skills that were legitimately acquired in a variety of ways, such as volunteer activities, organizational offices held, and part-time jobs that otherwise would not be included on a list of professional experiences. In the example here, you can see how various skills are divided into groups with subheadings to keep things organized and to align skills with the job description. Now we'll discuss the 2 most commonly used resume types. The difference between these types is how the sections of your resume are organized and constructed. The first type, the reverse chronological resume, is organized by date. In other words, your job history and qualifications are listed in order, starting with the most recent. This may be the format you are most familiar with. It is useful when a job candidate's history relates directly to the targeted position. Generally, the older and more experienced you are, the more the reverse chronological style will best present you. The second type, the functional or skills-based resume, uses a job candidate's skills as the primary organizing principle. This is useful for the entry-level job seeker, including recent graduates, because it emphasizes skills and downplays a lack of relevant job history. Let's take a look at each type of resume. The reverse chronological resume highlights your current and past jobs and responsibilities, as you can see in this example. Choose this style if your current position is relevant to the one you are applying for. Beginning with your current or most recent job, list your employers and their addresses, city and state only. Each employer should be followed by the dates of employment and a bulleted list of your duties, responsibilities, skills, and accomplishments. Each item on the bulleted list should begin with a strong descriptive verb. The functional or skills-based resume style emphasizes skills and abilities you've gained through jobs, life experiences, and organizational activities. This approach is particularly appropriate when the skills you've acquired are more impressive than the jobs you've had. In this example, you'll notice that skills are listed separately and before the work experience section. This allows you to pick and choose skills and then relate each one to the job you are applying for. Arrange your skills from the most to the least relevant. If you are applying for a job with the federal government, your resume is likely to require a unique style. So unique, as a matter of fact, that several major companies focus solely on the hiring process for America's largest employer, the federal government. I'll direct you to two of those companies if you're working on a resume for the federal government. At Go Government, you will find a federal resume wizard, as well as tons of resources that help you locate government careers that are right for you. The official government jobs website is usajobs.gov. Perhaps the best page to begin with is USA Jobs Resource Center, where you will find a link to the Federal Resume Builder. To recap, here are some of the basic resume guidelines that we've covered today. Take the time to customize your resume each time you apply for a job. Make your resume unique. Remember that it is likely to be one resume within a pile of applications, and you want to make sure it stands out. Highlight your special abilities, skills, and qualifications in relationship to the specific job you're applying for, and use strong verbs and specific details whenever possible. Use a visually appealing layout that the hiring manager can easily scan for keywords and details. Reduce information to prevent overload and clutter. Remember, simple and streamlined is typically your best bet when it comes to formatting your resume. Use consistent headings and bullets for emphasis and clarity. Leaving plenty of white space on the page will make your resume much easier on the eye. Include sections that best showcase your qualifications. Remember that the reverse chronological format helps to emphasize a long job history. On the other hand, if you are just starting out in the field, the functional resume is a great way to highlight skills over work experience. Finally, if the job requires specific formatting, section headings, content, etc. to be included in your resume, be sure to follow those directions to a T. Now I'll turn things back over to Amy for a discussion of how to write a thank you letter, as well as an overview of UMUC's career services.
Thank you, Anna. As your mother probably told you a million times, making a good impression doesn't end when you walk out the door. After your interview, it's important to send a thank you or a follow-up letter. A survey conducted by the job matching service Ladders revealed that 75% of interviewers consider a candidate's thank you letter when deciding who they will hire. In addition to letting your interviewer know that you appreciate his or her time, this letter also lets them know that you're still very interested in the job and that you're the best candidate for the job. Although both handwritten and emailed thank you letters are acceptable in most fields, email allows you to contact the interviewer or the organization quickly, so you and your interviewer are still fresh in their minds. A handwritten or a snail-mailed letter, it can be very personal, but it might not even reach the hiring person or committee until after they've made a decision. An effective thank you letter needs to thank the interviewer for the opportunity to meet. Let that person or committee know that you value and appreciate your time, and express that the interview is meaningful to you. Briefly discuss what you enjoyed about the interview. Was there any part of the conversation that was particularly enlightening or interesting? Did you learn anything about the position or your own experiences? Reiterate your interest in the job. If there are details about the position or the work itself that the interviewer shared, point to those as reasons why you are even more interested after the interview. Mention anything that you forgot to bring up during the interview. Occasionally, you'll leave an interview and realize that you accidentally omitted some experience or skill or some quality that would benefit the company. This is a great time to mention this. And again, reiterate that email is generally the most effective because you can contact the interviewer immediately, perhaps even while they're making the decision. And it might just be the thing that makes you stand out from the other candidates. So let's take a look at this example, which is courtesy of monster.com. You can find lots of other examples on the web as well. You can see that the writer thanks the interviewer, mentions what he found interesting about the interview and connects this to the interest in the job, refers to some additional experiences, and includes some additional information about a reference. Again, this kind of letter doesn't need to be overly long or elaborate. It just needs to remind the interviewer or committee that you're qualified and that you appreciate their time. We're going to open the floor up for questions in a moment, but before we wrap up, we wanted to share some of the other ways that UMUC Career Services can assist you throughout the job search. UMUC students, as well as alumni, can access the Career Quest platform, where you can view job availability, post your resume, or schedule an appointment. As you can see, you just need to go to the Career Services site and click on the link. If it's your first time using Career Quest, you'll create a profile, and then you'll have access to some fantastic tools. There's career spots, which are short 2 to 4 minute career-related videos that can give you some great information to help you in the job search or in career development. Resonate, which allows you to upload your resume and a job description and see how well your resume is tailored to the position, and then you can receive suggestions about how to tailor it further. Interview Stream, where you can access thousands of interview questions in order to prepare for an interview. You can record your answers and play the video back to assess your response. There's Career Insider by Vault. This website allows you to research companies, download books, access blogs, and view a multitude of other industry resources. This is a really good way to stay current on the changing dynamics of your field. There's Career Shift, which is a tool that can assist you with refining and organizing your job search, as well as locating individuals that you would like to reach out to in order to network. Focus 2. This tool is great for when you are trying to decide on a major or research careers that are related to your specific major. You can take self-assessments and plan out your career path. And finally, the Career Quest Resume Builder. This is a basic resume builder that allows you to create a resume for the first time, and then you can download it and edit it further. So you could start here with just kind of a bare bones resume, and then after that, use it each time you needed to create a specific one for a specific position. Now, if anybody has any questions, we'd be happy to discuss those.
We do not have any questions at this time.
Okay, well, thank you very much for attending. If you do have questions in the future, you're welcome to contact the Writing Center or the Career Services, and we look forward to working with you. Have a good evening.
Thank you for viewing this video. This will be, as we mentioned, posted in the Effective Writing Center's Google Plus space. Feel free to place any comments or questions right in that space, and we will reply to them very promptly. Thank you, and have a good night.